It started with a renovation, not a modern teardown, but the painstaking restoration of a heavy stone building in the heart of Vienna. Maria-Hilfer Strasse. A crew of workmen was pulling up rotten oak floorboards in a third-floor apartment that hadn't seen fresh paint since the late 1970s. The air was thick with gray dust, plaster, and the smell of forgotten decades. It was a grueling, dirty job. You pry the wood up, pull the rusty nails, and throw it in the skip. Until one of the workers stops. He feels a draft coming from a dark cavity beneath the floor joists. He shines his phone light down into the black space between the timber beams. And there, sitting completely out of place among the dust and cobwebs, he sees something that absolutely shouldn't be there. A small, heavy package, wrapped tightly in a piece of oiled military canvas that had long since dried out and rotted at the edges. Inside the stiff canvas, a revolver, small, compact, and completely frozen in an aggressive crust of orange and brown rust. This wasn't dropped by accident. It wasn't tossed carelessly under the floorboards during a panic. It was deliberately hidden in the dark, right next to a structural beam where a metal detector from the 1980s would have trouble finding it. Someone put it there, memorized the exact floorboard, and never came back to retrieve it. The worker wrapped it respectfully in a clean cloth and brought it to the only person he trusted with a dangerous ghost from the past, a professional gunsmith. Under the harsh, clinical white light of the workbench task lamp, the gunsmith examines the find. The smell of oxidized metal, dead basement air, and decades of decay fills the small room. The gun is in terrible condition, but despite 35 years of corrosion, the manufacturer's stamp is barely visible through the heavy pitting on the frame. RG-59, Röhm, Germany. A West German-made compact revolver, chambered in the ubiquitous .22 long rifle cartridge, manufactured sometime in the late 1970s. With a snub-nosed barrel barely 2 inches long, it was small enough to disappear completely inside a winter coat pocket or a simple ankle holster. This was never a military weapon. It was never a duty gun for police. It was designed and purchased for one specific dark purpose: to be completely invisible until the exact split second it was needed. This specific gun has been sleeping under that floor for at least 35 years. The cylinder is locked completely solid to the frame. The trigger won't move a fraction of a millimeter. The cheap plastic grip panels are cracked and brittle. Every single surface is covered in that unforgiving rust. But the gunsmith knows exactly what he's looking at. In the world of historical firearms, context is everything, and the location matters immensely. Vienna, an old apartment near the center of the city, and 1989 was an incredibly dangerous year. Let's step back in time. Vienna, August 1989. The Iron Curtain is violently shaking. Vienna was the undisputed espionage capital of the world, the primary bridge between the democratic West and the Soviet East. Spies, couriers, and informants walk these streets every single night, and somewhere in this city, a deep-cover operative is waiting in a safe apartment on Maria-Hilfer Strasse. His handler in Moscow had given him this exact RG-59 as an absolute last resort insurance policy. Real operatives hated the expensive, custom automatics you see in movies. They preferred cheap, untraceable, disposable revolvers exactly like this Röhm. If you had to use it in a dark alley, a revolver doesn't eject spent brass casings onto the ground for the police to find. It keeps the evidence trapped inside the cylinder. And if things went wrong, you wiped your fingerprints off the metal, dropped it into the cold waters of the Danube River, and walked away forever. No serial numbers in a Western database, just a ghost gun used by a ghost. The mission that summer was simple but deadly. An encrypted list of sleeper agents needed to move west before the network was compromised. He placed the loaded revolver under the loose floorboard near the door, a final, desperate precaution. If a liquidation team came kicking through that heavy wooden door in the middle of the night, .22 long rifle at close range is lethal enough to buy you 3 seconds to reach the fire escape. But history had other plans. On the 9th of November, 1989, the Berlin Wall fell. The world changed in a single chaotic night. The Soviet network dissolved on its own. The operative walked out the door, left the revolver exactly where he hid it, and disappeared into the crowd. He was never heard from again. The revolver waited, through 35 harsh Austrian winters, until today. Before any real restoration can begin, full disassembly is required. Every pin, every tiny spring, every screw has to come apart. But simple German engineering doesn't mean an easy job when the mechanism is chemically welded together by decades of neglect. The cylinder won't budge. The gunsmith starts the battle with high-quality penetrating oil, a heavy solvent designed to fight its way into microscopic gaps in the rust. 12 hours of soaking, then 24 hours. He applies highly controlled force with a nylon mallet and solid brass punches. You have to be patient. One wrong strike with a steel hammer, and the cast frame will crack in half. Finally, the cylinder swings free from the frame with a dry, agonizing, scraping crunch. Inside, the gunsmith finds a nightmare. All 5 chambers are packed with expanding rust and the corroded remains of the original 1980s ammunition. The lead bullets are covered in white oxidation. The brass casings are permanently bonded to the steel cylinder walls by thick green verdigris. They have to be surgically drilled and tapped out on a drill press. But once the barrel and cylinder are finally cleared, the gunsmith finds a mechanical miracle. The interior rifling survived. The bore shows light surface rust, but no deep, destructive pitting. With the gun fully disassembled into over 40 filthy pieces, the actual rust removal begins. This is the patient archaeology of metal. Layer by layer, the gunsmith removes 35 years of history. He uses soft brass brushes, ultrasonic chemical baths, and rotary tools spinning at 10,000 RPM. The smell of sulfur and solvent fills the workshop as the rust slowly dissolves, revealing the solid German steel hiding underneath. With all components finally stripped to bare, silver metal, the gunsmith begins the finishing process, cold chemical bluing, applied entirely by hand. It's a fascinating chemical process. The selenium-based liquid converts the microscopic surface of the steel at a molecular level into black iron oxide. It is literally controlled rusting, designed to prevent uncontrolled rusting. The moment the clear solution touches the polished metal, the gray steel instantly turns a deep, rich blue-black. Each component receives multiple coats. Between each coat, the metal is neutralized in distilled water, dried and lightly polished with ultra-fine steel wool. What started as a piece of pitted scrap metal is slowly becoming a dark mirror, reflecting the workshop lights. Reassembly is the ultimate test. New coil springs are sourced to replace the fatigued originals. New black, checkered rubber grip panels are meticulously fitted to the frame. Every internal component goes back into the gun in a highly specific sequence, lubricated with modern synthetic gun oil. The cylinder swings heavily into its crane and clicks into the frame with a solid, incredibly satisfying mechanical lockup. The timing is checked and verified. The trigger pulls smooth and heavy in double action. It breaks crisp and clean in single action. The revolver breathes again. But it isn't truly a firearm until it fires. There is only one job left. .22 long rifle, 5 rounds, the test range. The indoor testing range is quiet and smells of old lead. The restored RG-59 sits heavily on the wooden shooting bench. The dark blued steel gleams under the fluorescent lights. The cylinder is loaded with 5 rounds of modern, high-velocity CCI .22 ammunition. The brass catches the light as the cylinder is snapped shut. These will be the exact first shots fired from this revolver since nobody knows when. Maybe never. It was an insurance policy that was never cashed in, a silent witness to the Cold War. The gunsmith takes a slow breath, adjusts his grip, and levels the short barrel at the paper target 15 meters downrange. The trigger pull is deliberate. The hammer falls. The report is sharp, high-pitched, and cracks violently through the indoor air. The gun cycles perfectly. 2, 3, 4, 5. Silence returns to the range. Thin white smoke curls slowly from the muzzle. smelling strongly of burnt gunpowder and hot gun oil. The mechanical symphony of the gun functioning exactly as it was designed to 5 decades ago. The target is retrieved and laid on the bench, 5 rounds downrange. A remarkably tight 4-inch group, center mass, a tiny forgotten gun that spent 35 years rusting beneath a Vienna floorboard, just shot better and more reliably than most modern budget revolvers today. Whoever hid this gun is almost certainly gone. His spy network is permanently dissolved. The Iron Curtain is nothing but broken concrete and fading memories. But his revolver is here, restored, rescued from the dark. It sat quietly under a wooden floor while the entire world changed above it. A silent, perfectly engineered relic of a dangerous, divided world.